My word for the day is Enfix, and I don't even know if this is a word. I feel like the website, I don't know, it just feels to me like five-letter words are all over now, just making up random words, which I know is not true, but that was my first thought that just popped up immediately. Enfix. It reminds me of Phoenix, rising from the Phoenix, and the one that's illustrated. I mean, the one that I'm reminded of the most is Harry Potter. And my little sister, she was playing uh, the Harry Potter game on the PS4, and it looks really cool. And I was actually excited for the game, considering how incredibly successful the Harry Potter franchise is, from the books to the movies and now to the game. But the movie, no, the game itself was lackluster. Talking to her and then asking her like, how she felt and what was the story arc there. They had a lot of potential with what they could have done here, and it just felt underwhelming than what it could have been. And I read the whole book series. I loved it. That's how I started reading Harry Potter. Like one of the first few fiction books I was introduced to was Harry Potter, and right from the get go, it is brilliant. It is the words can't describe the sensation I felt reading the Harry Potter series. Like the back and forth I had with Snape all throughout the seven books. It's like I don't know whether he was a good guy or a bad guy. And being on that knife's edge, just literally couldn't contain myself. I was just like on the edge of my seat. And I was like, I just want to know whether he's good or bad, good or bad. How the Weasel twins, how they pieced started the end in the most Weasley fashion ever. How at the, at the heart of the matter, that phrase by Snape always, how it was pointed out, how the moment carried itself, book both in the book and the movie justified. It was purely justified. Like that at the heart when I found out that Sam was a good guy and he always did. He loved Lily and he did her justice by protecting Harry. And we find out that Dumbledore, who was a good guy, he was ready to sacrifice Harry for the greater good. And that scene always will always hit them in the pun not a pun, but like yeah, that moment will forever remain rent free in my head, both from the movie's perspective and from the book perspective. And the movie, I love one of the things I love about reading is imagining what the characters look like based on my imagination. And the kind of that litmus test I have is I love to watch adaptation of things from book to movie or book to TV shows, just to see how what I envisioned the characters to be, their personality to be, how they behaved, and what was portrayed in the TV shows, in the books, in the TV shows or in the movies. And so far, it's been lackluster experience. I've never felt something that I've envisioned it like that. I mean, the only thing that comes to mind was I read recently. Uh, a Swedish novel that was quote unquote called The Stephen King for Sweden. And the book was good. In the middle, it did lose me a little because the writing style I'm not the biggest fan of, like having five, six, seven stories running simultaneously at the same time. For me, I'm interested in that one story. I just want to follow that story down to its conclusion. But the way this writing style works, that you have four, five different stories happening at the same time, and at the end they all come together, which is the good part. But the worst part is like building up all those stories takes time, and it does lose the plot for me just a bit. But they had adaptation. I don't know, it was called Let the Right One In. Yeah, that was a movie called. They released it in '08, and the adaptation was pretty cool. That I was impressed by, and so yeah.